Hello, howdy. Hi, welcome to the Scrappy Piano Teacher Podcast. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Jacqueline Rosick. You can call me Jackie, and this podcast is for teachers who are in need of teacher talk with someone who's perfectly happy to be imperfect and find humor as we chug along creating music and magic for our students. I love helping teachers find clarity and sustainability in their studios and prep for that inevitable burnout that sneaks up even when things look good on paper. And that's kind of what today's episode is all about. But before we dive into studio numbers and lesson formats and whether you're quote unquote doing enough, I need to tell you about how my 5-hour drive home from NCKP turned into a 24-hour adventure of error codes, skippo, and a lot of car craziness. But first, I need to tell you about NCKP, guys. It was amazing. I got to meet up with online teacher friends and give them super big hugs. I got to attend some really great sessions, and I left with much needed clarity. I really needed clarity. I needed it, and I got it for the upcoming school year, which I'm going to tell you about in this episode today. Now, for those of you who have never been, NCKP is held every other year in Lombard, which is just outside of Chicago, Illinois. It's all about piano pedagogy, and I always leave super duper inspired. If you did not go this year and you're able to go in 2027, put it on your list. Even the virtual option is totally worth it if you simply cannot make it in person. Rewinding just a little bit back in March, I recently got a fully electric 2025 Chevy Equinox. I love this car. It is smooth. It is quiet. It's perfect for local driving I do around town. I've got a huge sunroof. Oh, it's so big. I love it. So I thought, why not take it on my first real road trip when going to Chicago? And that part was fine. On the way up there, totally fine. Stop at a charging station, charge it up. It was great. But on the way home, completely different story because the car wouldn't charge, just wouldn't charge. So me and my roommate, Jill, hi, Jill. Yeah, we tried, oh gosh, it was 6 or 7 different charging stations. We could not get this stinking car to charge for the life of us. We ended up at a Chevy dealership in Lombard, close to that area. And fortunately, it did charge a smidge, but I will tell you that the staff was not very helpful. If anything, they thought I was crazy. So thank goodness I was taking pictures of error codes and calling my own sales dealer, the guy who sold me the car in March, because he was my helper. But anyway, they weren't helpful, but they did help me get a charge. So by this point, it's really, really late. We have to stop and get another charge in order to make it. So we're going to stop at the same place that we did on the way up because we knew that charging station worked. And this charging station was in Lafayette, Indiana. So we get to Lafayette. It is definitely time to charge. We're not going to make it much farther. And guess what? The charging station that worked before did not work. And so we drove around. We're trying some other stuff. We tried Tesla stuff. Anyway, it didn't work. And then we go back to the original charging station and we kind of sit there. It was in a Walmart parking lot. And this is me and my roomie, Jill. A shout out to Jill Jansen, because I'm telling you, there was no better person on the planet to get put in this situation with than her. She was so great. But we're sitting there in the Walmart parking lot looking at each other like, what are we going to do? So we try the charging station one more time and it works. We're like, what is going on? So by this point, it is late. And the car is telling me that I'm going to have to stop 3 more times to charge in order to make it home, which, you guys, is not normal. If you don't drive an electric car, I'm telling you that is not normal. Those of you who drive electric cars, you should be nodding with me being like, yeah, that's weird. So we make the decision to get a hotel because it's late. We don't want to get stranded in the middle of nowhere, and we just wanted to play it safe. We played Skip-Bo. We may have had a cocktail because I'm sorry, if you go through that, you're totally justified in getting a cocktail. And we got some sleep and a great breakfast the next morning. So, I mean, counting our blessings here. Now, after breakfast, we load up the car and we're like, okay, we're going to do this. It was a beautiful day. We're going to make this work. And I kid you not, as I'm pulling the car out of the parking lot of that hotel, I knew immediately that the car was fine because I know that car. I've been driving it for a few months. we've kind of, we've developed a bit of a relationship here. And yeah, I looked at Jill and I was like, I'm pretty sure that the car reset itself or something. And sure enough, it was fine. It was fine on the way home. I took it to the dealership the next day. They kept it for a few days and gave me a loaner. Fortunately, I had all the pictures of all the error codes and all the messages that it was giving me. And so they believed me. They didn't think I was nuts or crazy, but they ended up, resetting it, doing all the things. And car's fine now. Yeah. Anyway, it took us 24 hours. So I dropped Jill off first. I got home at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, over 24 hours after we had departed from Chicago. So needless to say, when I pulled in the garage and my husband came out to give me a hug, I was a mess and I cried a lot. Whatever. I have a point to this, I promise. Because to me, the entire experience is kind of like a metaphor for my teaching life over the past year. Because here is the truth: you can have everything working on the outside, a full studio, your dream schedule, systems in place, and still maybe feel like something's not quite right. Because burnout, that dreaded word, doesn't always show up like a big bursting fire. Sometimes it's those weird little error messages where you're like, this isn't right. What is going on? And the more you try to push through and the more it doesn't work, eventually it just kind of shuts down and you realize you need a reset. So, on to my point. This past year, I had finally built what I thought was it with my studio, the dream setup. I had 7 full group classes. I had a handful of private students I loved and adored, all with 45-minute lessons because I love me a 45-minute private lesson. I had a waiting list that was just thick and juicy and wonderful. And financially, I had more than hit my goals. So, yay, Jackie, right? Looks like success, sounds like success, smells like success, but inside something was just off. I was lesson planning constantly. I was switching gears all day from my group prep, then my private prep, multi-level juggling. I was researching, I was tweaking, I was staying up late. I was also running this podcast. I was meeting with teachers. I'm creating resources, managing all the behind the scenes projects. So yes, I know, whose fault is that? It's my fault. I get it. I get it. I get it. But at some point, it started to feel like I really wasn't teaching anymore when it came to my studio. I was managing, I was directing, and I was leading, but I wasn't really connecting. And, I will say that my students really held through. I don't think they even noticed that I was going through whatever I was going through because they were playing beautifully. They were doing the work. The recitals were great. Everybody's happy. Parents are happy. Everything's good. But I knew something was off and it took me a while to figure out what it was. And I've realized that I wasn't nurturing. I wasn't really doing the teaching that I have learned to love and do. I didn't have the ability to track each student's growth, not just their performances, but who they were as musicians day to day. I can't even explain it now, but let's just say that I wasn't being fulfilled as a teacher. And I do want to be clear about something. I am not anti-group. I fully support group lessons. I love group lessons. I believe in group teaching. I've seen it work beautifully. I know so many teachers who thrive in that format, and I, again, fully support it. But this year, it just was not the right fit for me. I wasn't showing up the way that I wanted to show up. And when that started to happen consistently, more than not, I knew it was time to make a change. So I decided for this next year going forward, I'm going to make some tough but very necessary decisions. So I raised my rates, which wasn't tough. That needed to be done, but I raised my rates. I added more flex weeks to give myself more breathing room, which again, not tough. Knew I needed that one, but what was tough is I broke all my group lessons up into buddy lessons. So instead of groups of 4, I'm now going to have groups of 2. And I stopped accepting new students. I totally did away with my waiting list. All the new students I have been turning away and handing over to other teachers. And you guys, that has been the hardest thing. I have worked so hard on my SEO, on my website. Inquiries have been flowing. I see potential in every message that lands in my inbox. and I want to say yes to everyone. But I had to remind myself that I am not the only teacher in the world. These students don't need me per se, they need a great teacher that's going to fit them. And I am surrounded by them. I have amazing teachers all around me that are happy to take students. And I really had to get honest about my capacity. I think that when you're planning your studio, it's so easy to default to how do I fill every possible hour, every nook and cranny? And questions can trick us into thinking that more equals better. So let me offer a better set of questions. How many students can I serve well before I lose my joy of teaching? What formats actually energize me instead of draining me? Maybe groups energize you and you need those. Maybe it's just private lessons. Maybe you're like me and buddy lessons are the sweet thing. Am I designing a studio that works on paper, but not in my real life? And most importantly, what's my version of enough? It is not a badge of honor to be burned out all the time. So I'm going to walk you through a quick little, we'll call it a framework. Ask yourself, what's your monthly financial need with margin for profit first? You guys, if you missed my episode on profit first, I can reference it in the show notes. So let's say that you just want $3,000 a month. That is going to include what you're going to pay yourself, what you set aside for taxes, what you're going to reinvest into your studio, and what you save later on for your bonus profit. Another question, how many hours do you want to teach each week? Realistically. So let's say you want 20 hours a week. It's 80 hours a month. Okay. Now divide your goal by your time. So $3,000 divided by 80 hours, that's $37.50 an hour. So are your current rates giving you that return? If not, I mean, obviously you can raise your rates. You can shift your formats to buddy lessons or groups to up that number. You can cut your admin time by putting better systems in place, which you guys know I love my systems. So it's not always about teaching more. It's really about teaching smarter and most importantly, with margin. Because I want to be totally real, being overwhelmed is not impressive. It is not a bragging right. Wearing yourself thin without breaks is not a badge of honor. It is a recipe for burnout, even when everything looks fine. It's not fine. Success is not all about filling your calendar. It's building a studio that supports your real life, not one that's going to consume it. Now, if you are in the season of reevaluating, like I was, I do want to point you to two things. If you're reworking your studio structure, I have my policy workbook. It's not just a template. There is a template, but it's not just a template. It's going to walk you through what a studio policy really is and is not. There is a comparison chart to help you decide what fits. Again, there is a policy template. There is my free calendar template. And there are waivers in there as well. So that's on sale right now at scrappypianoteacher.com. Another thing that might help you is the August Scrappy session, which is on August 15th of 2025. It's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on standard operating procedures, so SOPs. We're going to do them in Google Docs, but also templates in my music staff, because most of the people that I work with tend to work with my music staff. I'm pretty sure that my music staff is the only software that has templates in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the other ones have that. So if you want to try my music staff, if you don't have it, I do have a 60-day free trial link. Normally, they only give a 30-day free trial link. So if you're wanting to try that out, I have a code. It's mymusicstaff.com/scrappypianoteacher. Again, it'll give you 60 days for free. So you're welcome to have that up and running before you come to the Scrappy session, but you don't have to, because we're going to be doing it in Google Docs as well. So this will have admin systems to help you coast through your burnout season instead of collapsing during it. So it's going to set you up for the whole year. Okay, so back to what I'm talking about though. How many students do you really need? How many students do you need? How many students do you need to consider yourself to have a successful studio? Do you want to know the number that I heard the most at the NCKP? Because I asked this question a lot to a lot of teachers, and 25 seemed to be the magic number. Now, is that your magic number? Well, only you can answer that. But I hope that this episode can give you a few ways to get honest with yourself, like I had to get honest with myself. It's not just about numbers, you guys. Let's not compare. Oh, I have 80 students and I work 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and I have no breaks and I'm so happy. No, you're not. Don't give me that. If you want margin, that doesn't make you lazy, okay? That doesn't make you an unsuccessful teacher, all right? The success is what you define it to be. You're not wrong for saying no to more. You're allowed to find joy again, even if it means making changes that no one else sees coming. So I hope that gives you guys some encouragement as far as how many numbers of students versus how much to make. It's so hard. Isn't it hard sometimes to really figure out that number because we want to take all the students? Like, give me, yeah, I'll teach your student. Yeah, I'll teach you. No. I'll take you. No, you don't need them. You don't need them all. So with that, I would like to know what your magic number is. What is your magic number? Do you know it? Have you found something that works beautifully for you and you've stuck with it over the years? I want to know. So with that, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll talk to you later and keep teaching, keep loving, and keep doing all the things. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.